the CSS and all those things we have learned it, right? Now in this session what we will learn is about the CSS selectors. So before proceeding to the writing the CSS rules and declarations and all those things, so let's try to learn about the different types of CSS selectors that are available in the CSS. So can anybody tell what are the CSS available? You people know what are the different types of selectors?
Simple selectors, combinator selector, class selector, pseudo-elements, attribute selector.
Okay. So what is a simple selector?
Simple selector means elements tag with tags ID and class.
Okay. Then afterwards?
Combinator selector, like it's a child selector.
Okay. What is that child selector? What it will do? Child selector means how I can
on the child of the parent.
So with which notation I need to do?
I think less than.
Less than.
No, sir, greater than sir.
Dharmendra, you always tell me in reverse order. I don't know. Next.
Next one, sibling selector.
Sibling selector. So which one we can do? With notation we can do?
Tilde symbol.
Tilde symbol. So what it will do, this tilde symbol?
I think it's also work like this, sir. I forget, sir.
Okay, fine. So let's remove these all things. Fine, let's see. Yeah. So let's try to learn these CSS selectors. So what are the different types of CSS selectors that are available? Let's try to learn it. So you know about a CSS selector, the parts of a CSS rule, you know it. So first one is a selector, that is nothing but here you will be having an element, okay, element or anything. So you will be having a selector, so which can be mentioning with a dot operator or anything, you can mention it. And here you will be writing the rules. Okay, so normally it is called as a declaration. So this one is called as a declaration. CSS declaration. Normally this entire thing is called as a rule. Okay, so if you are having more than one rule means, so these are called as a rule set. So if you are having another rule means with the same thing, not same thing, so with the other rule you are having means, these are all called as a rule set. So this is a property and this is a value. So these are the parts of the CSS thing. So let's try to learn about the CSS selector. First selector. The first selector, what I can say is the universal selector. So universal selector, these are all comes under the just like simple selectors only. So these are all part of the simple selectors. So first one is this universal selector. So what is this universal selector? So it is also known as something like wildcard selector also. We will call it as an wildcard selector. We can also call it as an wildcard selector. So this one is also called as a wildcard selector. So what does this do is it matches any element. So this simple selector, first one, universal selector matches any element. Matches any element. It is denoted with a star. So this is the first selector. If you try to open Visual Studio Code, yeah. So here let's open, let's create a file selectors.html. It is taking some time to create. Let's create it. Selectors.html. So let's give here let's create another folder with the name CSS, and here I will write selectors.css. Why the system is very slow? Is this one works or not today? Yeah. So star, if I mention it as a star, so this is a universal selector. Now you can apply anything for this one. So let's try to add. What happened to this one? Taking so much of time. Yeah. Now here if I try to mention p tag or anything, so div tag or anything, so anything if I try to mention, so here universal selector means while catch, it matches the all the elements. If I mention it as color, something like pink or anything, so it will match all the elements that are present in the HTML. So now the both the elements which are having paragraph element and also the div element will apply. Why it is happening so much slow? Yeah, let's go into this one and add the link here. selectors.css. So when we add this one, let's open this output. Now the entire elements, what are the elements available in this CSS file? So all the elements will have the pink color. Okay, so that means this is a wildcard selector. It will select, it will match all the elements. The first one we have learned it, and the next one is an type selector. Okay, so second one is an type selector. So type selector means it will match the HTML element directly. So it matches the HTML element directly. So this is called as a type selector. So that means any HTML elements. For example, let's say that, so for this one star we have applied, right? Let's remove this star thing. Now if I want to apply only for the paragraph element, so we can directly use this type selector paragraph, and we can apply the color of red or something like this. Now whatever the elements are having paragraph elements means, so those paragraph elements only will be applied red color, not the div elements and all those things. So now type selector means it will apply only to the HTML element. So we can notate with the HTML element like article, section, so whatever things we are having, div, paragraph, like this we can directly use the element name and we can target that element. So all the elements we can target it. Next comes is the class selector. So class selector means an HTML element. So normally the class and ID, do you know the difference between a class and an ID? You people?
Yes sir, we know sir.
All the people are aware of that one. Who doesn't know? So I will explain about the class and ID, or otherwise I will continue with this one. So class means, so you can have more than one elements, one or more items can be defined with a class attribute. So in more than one elements can have a class attribute. The class selector, if you mention this class selector, it matches any element that has that class applied to it. So this will be denoted with a dot operator. Okay, dot class name you will be giving with a dot class name. So like this you will be using. So now if you try to say, let's say that if I go here into the selectors, and here let's remove these all the things, and having here div class is equal to my class or anything. So I'm having a class. So this is the div element, and here I'm having a button. Okay, so the both are different elements, and I also am having a paragraph. So this is the paragraph element. Okay, so this is the paragraph element. So now 3 are different. So now if I want to apply these all the things means, so we can add a class, something like my class, and here also for this one I can apply. And now if I want to apply a CSS of red color means, so what I need to do, I need to apply for paragraph color of red, and I can use div tag and color of red. So like this we can give, and our last one is the button. So these are called as a type selector, and we can give color of red. So now if you see the output, if I try to see the output, so 3 of them are getting the color of red. Now instead of targeting like this, we can keep a class name for all the items like this, and I can apply for this one also class item, and using this class name we can target it. So here you can write directly dot my class, and you can write color of red. So this is a class selector. So now you can get the same output. So you can target one or more items defined in the class attribute. So the class selector will matches any element that has the class applied to it. So that is the one thing. Now you noticed that, so we have used here the dot operator. Okay, it is only present in the CSS, not in the HTML. So don't write this dot operator in the HTML. So dot operator instructs the CSS language to match the class attribute members. So next one comes the ID selector. Okay, so next one comes the ID selector. So ID selector means an HTML element, it will matches the HTML element which is having an ID attribute, and it should be the only element on a page with that ID value. So now let's try to see. So now here if you are having an element, so div tag with ID is equal to, so div tag with ID is equal to my ID, and here you can apply like this. And if you want to target this element with an ID means, so we need to use hash operator here. Okay, we need to use hash and the my ID, and you can give the color, whatever the color you want it. So like this is called as an ID selector. Okay, so this is called as an ID selector, and you need to remember that only one ID should be present. So you should not have more than one element with the same IDs. Okay, it should not be like this. So but the CSS will apply for the 2 items, but here we should have only one ID in a single page, not the entire web application in a single page. So this is an ID selector. Next comes the attribute selector. So these are all. Who is that?
No. Amanda, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, in one element have a ID and class same. But
Okay.
same have a same text color, sir. Which one apply first, sir?
That one
ID
will
or class?
we will discuss, Dharmendra, in the cascading thing. That one is different. First let's complete the selectors thing, then we will see the combination, so which has the higher preference and all those things. So now let's continue with the another one, that is nothing but an attribute selector. Attribute selector. So the attribute selectors are nothing but the attributes. We already know about these attributes, right? So these are called as an attributes. We can also target the elements with the attributes also. For example, let's say that we are having one div tag, okay, and here we will be having a href is equal to, let's say, Google. So here I am using Google, and in the href I am using the Google. So here href is an attribute. I am using another one, http google.com, and here we will be using http google.com, and here we will be using https, okay, so google.com, like this, https, and another one last we will be having something like let's say, so anything, so go www.google.com, let's say, let's see, and here also I will be using www.google.com. So we are having different types of links here, so Google and all those things. Now if I try to target anchor link which is having an href attribute, okay, I can target it like this also. This is called as an attribute. So we can target with the attribute, and I can apply a color of yellow means, so all the anchor links which are having href attribute, so href attribute, so they can target here. So if I try to see here, all the links we got it as an yellow color. So why? Because so we are targeting with the href attribute. So if you want, you can also target with the value also. So you can write Google here. So you can write the Google here like this. And now if you try to see who is having the Google inside that one. Okay, so here we are having Google inside that one. So this is the only element which is having Google. Other than that, we are having the Google, but there are nothing but what I can say is it's not containing only the Google text. It is having all the text, something like http google.com. Exact match. It will try to see the exact match. One thing what I can say is exact match. It will try to see. Here it is having only href is equal to Google. So these are having href is equal to Google, but some other text is present between and outside. So this is about the attribute selector. For example, let's say that I want to match all the href which is having the Google as a part of the text. So then what I can do is we can make this one something like star. Star means it will try to check that href attribute which is having Google as a part of the text. Now if you try to see, all the elements will be having yellow color. Why? Because all the elements are having Google as their href attribute, as a part of the href attribute. For example, let's say that I want to apply only to the element which is having HTTP as the starting. Okay, so which is having HTTP as the starting. Then we need to apply here caret symbol. Okay, here. So this symbol we need to apply. So now if you try to see here, so which is having HTTP as the starting. So this is the only element which is having HTTP at the starting. Now only the second element will be applied yellow color. If you try to see, only the second element is applied yellow color. So for example, let's say that I want to check only the last one which is having .com. So all of them are having .com, but this one is not having .com. So let's say that .com/. Let's try to apply. So here you need to apply dollar symbol. So it will try to check with the .com. Okay, so if you try to check like this, so which is having .com/, then only for those things only it will be applied. So what has happened? Okay, this one is H1. Let's try to see that one is escaped, I think. So now whichever is having .com, only those things has been applied. So I think this slash we haven't applied or what for this selector. Okay, we haven't applied for this one. Fine, right? So now these two elements are only having .com as the last. So this one is having slash at the end, and this one is not having, at least is not having .com also. If you try to see, only these two elements got it. So now if you try to see here also in this one .com/, now only the last element will be applied yellow color. So now we have learned about the attribute selectors and different types of attribute selectors. href matches only with the attribute name, and another one is in the href we have learned about the star matches any, something like that, matches any. Another one is in caret symbol. So starting, it will match the starting, and another one is a dollar symbol, end. So these are things. So href without mentioning these all the things means it will try to check the exact match. Exact match. So these are all about the attribute selectors. Now next comes the, so we have completed the attribute selectors. Now next what we can say is the grouping selectors. So we can also use the combination of these all things. Don't think that these are all separate. We can use it like a separate. So we can have a combinations, universal selector with a type selector, like that we can also have a combinations. Those all things we'll try to see. Grouping selectors. So next one, grouping selectors means now we can target, for example, let's say that, so these all things I'll try to remove it. Let's say that this is the div element and all those things, right? Now I want to apply only for the div element and also only for the p element, paragraph element, the color of red. So what I can do here, I can apply only for the div element, or otherwise let's say that, so this is having my class and this is having my class 1 and my class 2. Okay, let's assume. So we are having like this, my class 1 and my class 2. So I want to apply only for the my class 1 and also for the my ID color of red. So what I need to do, so here I can use my class 1. So I need to apply color of red, and for the ID also I need to apply. So what I can do here, hash my ID, it should be of color of red. So that's it. Now if you try to see here, so only the elements, the button, it has applied the color of red, and this one. So what I can do is, instead of writing like this, we can group these two selectors. So group these two selectors means I can use a comma oriented, and I can write hash my-id. So this is a grouping selector. Now if you try to see here, grouping selectors means we can use it with a, so we can group multiple selectors using comma. So that's it. That is a grouping selectors. So these are the basic selectors which we can have it. And next comes the pseudo selectors. So that means pseudo classes. So we will try to learn about the pseudo class also afterwards. So CSS provides useful selector types that focus on the specific platform state. So now, for example, element has a state. So that is nothing but when an element is hovered, when an element is clicked. So like that, we will be having some state for an element. So for capturing those type of states, we use the pseudo classes. Classes, these are also one type of class only, but these are pseudo classes. These are noted using the single column. So these are identified using the single column. You will be able to see it. For example, let's say that you are having an anchor text here. For the anchor link, so normally what you will try to do for anchor link, you will try to apply color of green. Let's say. So now for all the anchor links, you will get a color of green. So that is a type selector. So all the elements has got the green color. When I hover here, so that means the state has been changed. When I hover here, so you will be able to see a colon hover. Then I want to apply it as a color red or something like this. Now if I try to hover it, so here this has been changed into the color. So that is, these are called as a pseudo classes. So we will learn about the pseudo classes afterwards, but try to understand that pseudo classes means the elements states, defining the element states. You will be having so many pseudo classes like that. So we'll try to learn one by one. I will try to explain you one by one afterwards when we go into the deeper. So just remember that the elements will have a particular state of states. You will be having something like it is an active state. So when it is focus. So focus means when it is focus. So like this, the state of an element you will be having. So like this, these are the pseudo classes. So we can also apply pseudo classes like a colon hover. So this is represented with a single colon. So this is one thing you need to remember. Pseudo classes represented with a single colon. So we can identify the state of an element. State of an element, and we can apply classes using these pseudo classes. Okay, you can apply CSS for that one. So that is about the pseudo classes. Apart from the pseudo classes, we also, there are different types of pseudo classes are there. We'll discuss about that one in another session. Just remember this one, pseudo classes. Now next, apart from that one, we have another type that is nothing but pseudo elements. Okay, pseudo elements. Pseudo elements differ from the pseudo classes because instead of responding to the platform state, they act as if they are inserting a new element with the CSS. It's using these pseudo elements, we will insert a new element in the CSS. Using the CSS, we will insert a new element. Whereas the pseudo classes, it identifies the state of an element. So in which state it is, whether it is an active state or something like that. So like that, it will identify. Whereas these elements, what it will try to do is, it will try to insert a new element inside the CSS using this one. So these are indicated with a double colon. Okay, these are indicated with a double colon. Normally what you will be having, the pseudo elements are, so before and after. Okay, you will be having before and after. So these are the pseudo elements. So for example, let's say that you are having an element. I will try to show you. We'll try to discuss about the pseudo elements and pseudo classes. We are having a P element and this class is equal to nothing but an my element, let's say. And here I am having, this is the my element class, like this. Now if I try to, now what is this pseudo class, pseudo elements are responsible? So they are responsible for inserting a new data. So here what I can do is dot my element. So before means before the content starts. What I want to insert, here I want to insert a content that is nothing but prefix or anything. So like this I want to insert it. Now if you try to see the output, what will happen is, here you are able to see it, right? This is the my element class and this prefix is got inserted through the CSS. So this is also not selectable if you try to observe. Okay, I am not able to select this one. So this using the CSS we can use this one, and also we can have another one that is nothing but an after. So after means now it will try to insert another one after like this. Okay. So like this we will be using. So like we will be having different types of pseudo elements will be there. For example, let's say that if you want to pseudo elements are not limited to inserting content only. So you can also you can also use them to target specific parts of an element. For example, let's say that you have a list of items. So you want to mark those list of items as that bullets as red color means we will be having different types of things. So for example, let's say that you are having div and ul, and here you will be having li. What is this? Li if I are having, so list 1. So let's try to have it like that. And if you see the example here, so we are able to see this list 1 like that, right? So we can target this one. So if you try to see here, we cannot able to select this item. Why? Because those are added through the like this prefix hyphen through like this through the what I can say pseudo elements. Now we can also target this one. Let's say that those are called as a markers. Here in this one I can say li pseudo element marker. Here I can apply something like color red. Now what it will try to do is, here the color is applied. So there are wide variety of pseudo elements are there. If you try to observe, search it, we can able to find it. So these are called as an pseudo elements. For example, let's say that I am able to select these all the items, right? So for example, I am able to select these all the items. So this is in the blue color. I am able to select this in the blue color. If I want to change it to red color means I can change it that one. So here I can use selection. So like this we will be having sometimes pseudo elements are there. Most probably I will be using these things only. If I want to select something like background color, I want to change it to black, and while selecting I want to make the color as white. Okay, so this is the selection. So now I can see now the selection has been changed, black, and the font size is white. So wherever I select here, these all the things will be changing. So they will be having some extra pseudo elements will be there. We can search it and we can use it. So like this, the pseudo elements target will do using that double quotation. Some old browsers doesn't know about this double quotation. Pseudo elements also will be targeted like this single marker only. So that's not a problem. So now the most of the browser supports. Older browser doesn't support this double column notation. So now these are about the pseudo elements. We have seen about the before, after, and some of the selections I have shown you. Selection, marker, so like this. So these are pseudo elements. Using this one pseudo elements we can target the elements. Now next comes, so these are all simple. So these are all direct attack. So you will be able to understand very easily. Now comes somewhat complex selectors, not complex selectors. So these are also very easy only. I will try to explain you easy manner. So little bit of complex you will be having. You know that CSS only traverse from downwards only. It will not go to the top. For example, let's say that I have this element, okay. I want to find the parent of this element. So I cannot do using the CSS. So we can go only to the downwards. We cannot go to the upwards. So that is the main thing you need to understand. You have a div element and you can go inside this UL thing, or otherwise you cannot say that I have this li element. I want to know the parent of this li element using the CSS. We cannot do it that one. So we can go only the downwards, not the upwards. So you need to remember this point. Always gives us the power to cascade only downwards. So this is the meaning of the cascading. Cascading means going, traversing. So only the cascade, we can go only the downwards only, selecting child elements. So we are not able to target upwards. We cannot go to the upwards and select a parent element. So we will cover what is this cascade and all those things. I will try to explain you. So how these selectors and all those things behaves in a different way, combinations. First you need to understand different types of selectors available in this one. So now let's go. So these are nothing but let's say that combinators. Okay, first one will come about the combinators. Okay, let's come in the complex selectors. First concept we'll learn about the combinators. In the combinators, what I can say is, so you will be having the first one is a descendant selector. Descendant selector. So this one is indicated with a space. Space means noting the word space. So space, single space like this. So what is the use of this one is, for example, let's say that I will try to remove these all the things to make it clear. So these are all simple selectors. Now here, let's assume, one second. let's assume that I have a div element. Okay, in this one I am having a paragraph element. So this is the paragraph, and in this one I am having one strong element. Okay, I am having one strong element, let's assume, and at the bottom I am having another span element. So this is the span element, like this I am writing, and here also I am having a strong element, let's assume. So this is the structure of the HTML we are having. Now what I want to do is, here this is a my class, let's write it. So this is a class, so this is a div element, and in this one we are having two child elements, that is nothing but p and span, and this strong is a child element for this parent child element for this paragraph. P is a parent for this strong and span is the parent for this strong. If you try to see the output, how the output will appear, we are able to see this is a paragraph and the element we are able to see it. Now I want to target all the strong elements which are available in the class my class. So whether it may be direct descendant or whether it may be in the child or something like that, it should be present inside the my class. For example, let's say that I am having here another strong. So this is the strong element. Now if you try to see the output, so this will come inside. Let's try to make a BR here, so that, so for demo purpose I am using, don't use the BRs. So here one paragraph, one element, and this is strong. So if you consider this one my class, so my class has a direct child, this strong element. Okay, so this is a direct child. So that means for this my class, this strong is a direct child, whereas this strong and these strongs are not direct child for this my class. So this my class becomes the grandparent, not the parent. So this one is a parent, and for this paragraph parent is my class. So that means strong's grandparent is my class, not direct parent. Whereas this for this strong, the parent is the my class. So now if you try to see here the selector thing, whatever may be the position it is having, the strong element, whether it may be a children or grandchildren or grandchildren, whatever it may be, so it should be present inside this my class. So for all those strong elements which are available in this my class, I want to apply color of red. So then what I can do here, I will try to say that my class, inside this one with a space strong, I want to apply color of red. Okay, so this is a descendant selector. Now whatever the thing you are having, okay, whatever the elements that are present inside this my class, it may be a grandparent, grandchildren or children or anything, so all the things will be applied red color. If you try to see, these are all the strong elements that are applied red color. If you come outside and if I try to write another div, and here inside this one if I try to write strong element, so this is outside strong element. So this will not apply the red color. Why? Because this is outside the my class. So this is not a child for the my class. So that is the reason. So this is called as a descendant selector. So whatever may be, it may be a grandparent or parent or anything, it will apply the color red to the children's. So that is the main thing you need to understand. This is called as a descendant selector. Next comes the child selector. So this is denoted with a greater than symbol. Now if you try to see here, what happened here? Okay. Now for example, let's say that the same example we'll try to take it. Now whatever for inside this my class, so these are grandchildren and these are children. Whatever it may be, I want to apply only to the children, not to the grandchildren. So that means direct children for this element, for the my class element only, I want to apply the class. Then what I can do is, here I can do greater than symbol in between these two things. Then it will apply only to the direct children. If you try to see here, only this element has been applied, the red color, not these are not direct children for this my class. These are grandchildren for this one. So for these elements, the children is actually span tag and also the paragraph tag. Whereas this for this strong tag, directly the children is, the parent is my class. So that is the reason only for this strong element. So here for this direct children, this color red has been applied. So this is all. This is about the child selector. So now comes the another one is the adjacent selector. Adjacent selector. Adjacent selector means, so up to here you have understood about this one. This is nothing but traversing inside. Okay, inside the element. Traversing inside the element. So whereas here from adjacent selector and what I can say is general sibling selector or sibling selector, we can also call it as a sibling selector or anything. So these two elements are little bit different. So these two elements, these are little bit different. So these adjacent selectors, what I am trying to say, and these sibling selectors. So how it will apply is, so these are notation with a plus symbol, and this is for a with a tilde symbol. Where is the tilde symbol? Yeah. So this is the tilde symbol. Now for example, adjacent selector, I can say something like a simple example. Adjacent selector means, how can I say is, let's say that, let's remove these all the things. I am having a div element. Okay, so div element. So this is a div element, and now I am not going inside this div element, I am going outside. So I am outside. So this is a paragraph element, para 1, and now this is a para 2. So we are having here, let's assume, so these are not children or parents, so these are all adjacent. Okay, these are adjacent, these are siblings, these are called as siblings, which are on the same level. So you need to understand the terminologies, sibling and the adjacent. So don't interchange those words. Now here, what I want to do is, for example, whatever the element we are having here, div element, for this the adjacent element, so that means the next element whatever it is having, I want to apply color red to this one. So for example, let's say that class is equal to my class, and again here again I will be having another set, same thing like this. So like this we are having. Now whatever the my class element we are having adjacent to that one paragraph element, so that means the next paragraph element should be colored red. So what I can do is here, so here what I will be trying to do, so my class, I want to apply, I want to catch this my class, whatever the element which is having the my class. Okay, I caught this element. Now what I want to do is the next element which is having, it should be a paragraph. If it is a paragraph, that means the next element, if it is a paragraph, then it should be applied color red. So that's it. Now whatever the my class we are having, the next element if it is having a paragraph element means, then it should be applied color red. If you try to observe here, so this paragraph 1 has been applied color red. What is this? Where that another one gone? I didn't save it or what? Okay, I didn't save it. So let's save it, and if you try to see here, see the only para 1 and para 1 inside this outside this div element. So we got this red color. Why? Because that my class adjacent one is a paragraph thing. Okay, the next element will not be applied, only the next another element only it will be applied. So this is the combination of this one. My class, the next it should be a paragraph, if it is a paragraph element. For example, if it is this one is a div element means, then it will not apply. Why? Because for this the next element is not a paragraph, it should be, it is a div element. But here we are checking that the next element for this my class should be a paragraph element. So that is the thing. If you keep star, then it will work. Okay, the combination. So these are all combination comes. So if you keep p here, then it should be, it will check for the only paragraph. So here the first elements para 1 only will be red, here this not will be the red. So this is called as an adjacent selector. So it will apply only for the next selector, this p element. So applies to the adjacent sibling, only one. So next comes is the tilde operator. Now this tilde operator, what it will try to do is, so this is a different. So now for example, let's say that I will remove this element also, you can observe it. Now when I try to apply my class, okay, when I try to my class, and if I change it to tilde operator here, so now which are paragraphs which are on the same level, okay, so siblings. So now for this one, this is a sibling, this is a sibling, and this is a sibling. So these all the 3 paragraphs will be applied red color. Now if you try to see the output, so all the 3 paragraphs will be applied red color. whereas plus applies only to the next element. But here the paragraph, for example, if you are having inside this one, you are having a paragraph element here, so this will not be applied. Why? Because this is not a sibling. Now if you try to see here, this element will not be applied, only these three elements will be applied. Why? Because these are all direct sibling to this div element. So this is an difference between plus and tilde operator, that is the main difference. So tilde operator applies to all the adjacent siblings, whereas to this one immediate adjacent sibling only, to only one adjacent sibling only it will apply. To all adjacent siblings it will apply. So this is called as an combinator. So these are all different types of combinators you will be having. And another one what I can say is, that's it, most of the things. So these are the only selectors you will be having. So last one you will be having is a compound selector. Okay, this is called as a compound selector. So compound selector means, for example, let's say that I want to target more specifically. For example, let's say I am having an anchor link here, my class, and another one I am having, let's say another one is a my class 2. Okay, I want to target only this element only. For example, let's say that I am having another one, div class is equal to my class. And here what I can say, for this one also it is having a class is equal to my class. Now I want to target only this anchor element, not this anchor element. If I try to use something like anchor element means color red means, now both of these anchor links are targeted. So both of these anchor links are targeted. This should not happen it like that. But what I want is only this first anchor link only should be targeted. What I can take is, so I can take this class thing and I can apply instead of this anchor link, and I can apply like this directly dot my class. But then this one also doesn't work. Why? Because not only for the anchor link we are having a my class, for the div element is also we are having a my class. This should not be possible. So then what we need to use? We need to use a compound selector. So that means combination. So here we can say that anchor link which is having of type my class. Okay, without space. Space means that definition differs. It will go to the descendant selector. It should be a without space dot my class. Then this is called as a compound selector. So you can combine selectors. So this is all about the readability issue. Now we can see that only for this one only it has been applied the my class. So this is a compound selector. So this is all about the selectors. Now here it should be noted without space here, my class. So today what we have learned, today we have learned about all the different types of selectors. So universal selector, we have learned it, matches any element, that is a wildcard. So this is the basic first one, and the next one is a type selector, and next is a class selector, ID selector. These are all denoted with the hash, and here it is denoted with the dot. And these are attribute selectors. We have seen it, href with only the attribute name we can target, matches any. So any value between the substring it will try to match it. Here this caret symbol it should be at the starting, and dollar symbol means it will match with the end character, end words. And this is an exact. Without using this one, href is equal to means it will try to match with an exact match. So these are different types available in the attribute selector. Next we have used this grouping selector. It is denoted with a comma. Okay, so comma we can use it. Now pseudo classes, we have seen some of the pseudo classes like hover, focus, these all things you will be having. So you can play around with this one, pseudo classes. And next other type of things which we will be coming across is pseudo elements. And next comes the complex selectors which we are trying to learn. So in that first combination is the combinators. So that is nothing but descendant selector and the child selector with a space and a greater than. Next we have learned about the adjacent selector with the plus symbol which matches only one immediate one, and sibling means it will match all the adjacent siblings which are on the same level, and a compound selector a dot my class. So these are only the different types of selectors available in the CSS. So now this is our new topic. So now we have learned all about the different types of selectors available in the CSS. We have learned it. Now let's go on to the new topic, that is nothing but a cascading. What is this cascade? In our CSS we have learned the CSS full form is nothing but cascading style sheets. Right? So here we need to understand what is meant by cascade. Small times I have introduced about this cascade thing. So we can only cascade downwards, like that we have seen it, right? So we need to understand how the CSS applies these all the CSS styles in the element. We need to understand it. Sometimes two or more competing CSS rules. So just like somebody asked that. So two or more competing CSS rule could apply to an element. So that means we can have some of the CSS rules applies to a one or two CSS rules applies to the same element. So now in this module we learn how this browser, so how the browser chooses the correct style for that one. So how we can understand that which style will be selected for that element. If two or more styles apply to the same element, how this browser selects the element, let's try to see it. So in order to understand this one, for example, let's say that I will take a simple example here. Let's try to understand cascade.html, and here also I will try to create a new file, cascade.css. Now if you open this cascade.html, so here this is our thing. Let's say I have a button. Okay, I am having a button, simple thing, submit form or something like this. I am having a button. Let's open this cascade.html inside this one. Yeah, we are able to see submit form. Fine, it's perfect, it's correct. Now what I want to do is, let's go to the cascade CSS and I will try to apply link CSS/cascade.css. I am using this one. Now let's say that first one, I am having a button here. For this button I am applying color of red. Now if I try to see the red color here, so you are able to see the red color. Fine, perfect. Now for the same element we are having another style also. So now here we are having another one, something like color red, color green. Now which one will be applied is here always CSS algorithm. So the cascade is nothing but an algorithm for solving the conflicts when multiple CSS rules applies to an HTML element. Whenever a multiple CSS rules applies to an HTML element, the cascade algorithm, so it is nothing but an algorithm. So it is used for solving this type of conflicts. Okay. Now if you try to see here, the two items, the two buttons are having, the same button is having two styles, that is nothing but first one is a color red and the next one is a color green. Now what will apply this one is, now the algorithm will go top to bottom approach. It will try to see the button is there. Okay, it will apply the red color. Then after it will go to the, it will see another time again this button, the same element, it is targeting the green color. Now it will override that previous one with a green color. If you try to see the output here, this time the button is green color. So this is the first basic understanding this cascading algorithm. So whatever the recent ones comes, the CSS styles, it will be applied that styles only to the element. For example, let's say that we are having here a font size of 14 pixel. Now you are understanding that this is a button which is having color red and a font size 14 pixel, and now again it encountered this button, so which is having a color green, right? So now only the color only will be replaced. The font size 14 pixel will be like that only. Why? Because we are not overriding the declaration. Here single style we are not overriding the declaration. Here for this selector, whatever the styles that we are writing in the recent thing, those styles only will be overridden. Now if you try to see, the font size will be always 14 pixel only for this one, but the color is changed to green color. So that is the main thing, and that is also another thing you need to understand. So don't think that this button and again another CSS style is there, so entire thing will be replaced with this one. Don't think like that. So if I try to mention it as 30 pixel, now the font size 30 pixel will be there like that only, but the color will be overridden. If you want to see here in the dev tools, if I open here in the dev tools, here if you try to see here in this one cascading thing, the color has been striked off, and here you will be able to see the color green. So this is the recent one which has encountered, the CSS has encountered, and this recent one has been applied. So this is the basic CSS thing. So now one fundamental thing what you need to understand is, before understanding this one, so how the cascading algorithm actually works. So it takes on four stages. So the cascading algorithm goes on with 4 stages. So that is nothing but first one, it will take the position and the order of the appearance. Position and order. So just now we have seen that in which position that CSS is coming. So order of the appearance. First one, it will take into consideration position and order of the appearance. Second one comes the specificity. So second one comes the specificity. So we will discuss about the specificity. So next one comes the origin. So from where this CSS style is coming, from which file or from which place it is coming. The fourth one last is the importance. So some CSS rules are weighted more heavily than others, especially with the dot important rule type. So last one is dot important. So that is importance. So first one comes the position and the order of the appearance. So we have already seen the position and order of the appearance in the first time. So when we have seen here, if I try to write the style here, so now here for the same button, if I try to write color of yellow, so now which one will be applied? As we already know that the position and the order of the appearance is the main important. So here first it has been applied and afterwards this has been applied. Inside this one again color green is there. So this is taken as the higher preference. If you try to see, then still it is in the color green color only. So first this one came, this one is striked off, then afterwards this one is striked off, and now this has been applied. So the position and order of the appearance is very much important. Don't think that inline has the more preference, then afterwards internal, then afterwards external. Don't think like that. So this is the main importance you will be having. Now if you try to mention here style at the bottom, now what it will happen? Now the yellow will be given more preference. Why? Because first red has came, in that same CSS green has been overridden, and last afterwards embedded CSS has been came. So like this it will go on. Now if you take the inline thing, that is a different matter. So inline thing has the more importance. So more importance means nothing that not more importance. Don't think like that. Inline is a different case, that for the element we are applying, right? So it will take it as a higher preference. We can override those things also. We'll try to see one by one. So this is first one is the position and the order of the appearance. Okay. Now the position and order of the appearance we have seen. Now let's say that we are having a class for this one. Okay, we are having a class for this one. Class say later my button. Now here let's go on to the cascade.css. Let's try to remove this style. You understood about these embedded styles and all those things. Let's go on, stick with the external style sheet only. Now here we are having a button. Okay, I removed this one. Let's remove this font size also. It's looking big. Now what I will try to do is, I will write my button. So with the class I am trying to see. So I am targeting the same element but different types of selectors I am trying to do. First time this one with a type selector and this one with a class selector I am trying to do. So here I will try to apply color green. So order of the appearance is completed. So let's try to check it with the order of the appearance. Now here let's go on to the CSS style sheet and it will try to see here. Okay, so this is targeting this element, my button. So this button. Okay, I will apply the color green. Fine, it will apply. Then afterwards it came to the another element and it has seen that okay, this is a button element, that is nothing but the element which I have applied color green. So what it will try to see? So I need to apply color red color. Then it will try to apply the color red color. If you try to see the output, what will happen? So the output will not be like that. So the output is it has applied the green color. So what is happening here? So this red has appeared afterwards. The position and order of the appearance is very much important. We have seen it, right? But here the position is nothing but this one has came recently. But here, which one has appeared at the top? It is applying the green color. If I try to place it bottom, so whatever the things we have discussed up to now, it is able to apply. So that means button has appeared. Okay, it will apply the red color. Then afterwards it is applying the same element color green. Okay, that color green will be applied. So this is normal thing. So this is expected behavior only. But when I apply this, when I add this button at the top, then still also we are able to see green color only instead of red color. So red color has came recently. But here what it has happened, see, red is striked off and green has came. So here at the top. So when the position is completed, okay, now the position is completed. After the position, the CSS algorithm has thought that to apply the red color. Then the second option, what it need to search? It need to search the specificity. So which has the more specific, so which is more specific in nature. So which is more specific here? Rather than the type selector, the class selector is the more specific. So because of that reason, so color green has been applied. We will discuss about the specific, how the CSS has calculated that this is more specific, how we can, how you can say like that, you can ask me. So we will discuss about the specificity, how that one also, we have the calculations. We will try to see those things also. So this is the nothing but a specificity issue. So now for example, let's say that I want to target more specific. So then what I will try to do here at the top, I want to apply for a button element which is having a class of my button. So I am more specifically I am saying that it should be having a button element which is having a class of my button. So I want to apply color of orange. red and orange will be matching, right? Green, red, yellow is not looking nice. Let's say brown is also will be, let's see here, aqua, okay, aqua or blue or anything, blue will take, RGB colors. Yeah, now which color will it will apply? Here the cascade algorithm, we have seen that. Okay, first one is the position and order. So which is having the recent one? So this one. Okay, it will apply the red color. So then the second rule comes. So I need to talk about the specific nature, which is having more specific nature. More specific means, so this is directly targeting that element, and this is targeting with a class, but it is targeting with the element with a class name. So this means this is more specific in nature. So then what I can do here? So this one will be in a blue color. Instead of having this one at the top position also, these all the things are replaced. So this is the called as a second rule, that is nothing but an specificity. We'll discuss about the specificity in the next session. I am giving an overview. And next comes the origin. Origin means nothing but what I can say is, so specificity we understood. Origin means the place, in which place, from which place these all CSS, the CSS file has been come from. So normally I have discussed with you, the first origin is the user agent style sheet. Okay, so this is the user agent style sheet. These are the styles that your browser applies to the HTML elements by default. So this is the style. So now these are all user agent style sheets. So these have the least preference. See here, I have applied the color. Color has been striked off. Why? Because this is used in our local file. So local file means our own file, user file. So that is the reason this has been striked off. So why? Because user agent also has a color, something default black color. Why it is showing that black color? If I don't apply this one, it will show it in a black color. So black color only, right? No, so this color green came. Okay, color red came. Yeah, black color. Who is applying this black color? So this user agent style sheet. This browser is applying the black color. So without telling buyers how this can apply the black color. So that is nothing but browser is applying. So this browser is the first one. Next preference will be given to the user style sheets. The user style sheets means nothing but our style sheets, which we have written. So these style sheets. So these are the style sheets which are given preference. Next comes the other CSS. Other CSS means, so which comes from the like Bootstrap. These are all the things it will come. So Bootstrap will be taken the. So those all things are also our user style CSS only. We can say it. Then comes the important. Okay. Then comes the important. So then afterwards it will take the important. So now we have written all those things. I am unable to understand that which color is applying. So I don't know. So I am unable to recognize that which color is applying. So I want this, at any cost I want this red color to be applied. So then what I will try to do, I will try to give important for this one. Now whatever may be the specific nature, whatever may be the things, these all things gone. So last one is the importance. So this one is applied. So now this is given as the preference. Okay. If I try to see here, this time the color will be red color. Why? Because this is given a importance of preference. So this is how actually the cascading will appear. So user agent, then after user agent style sheets, then after our what I can say, our user style sheets, then afterwards style sheets with important. If an user agent has anything with an important means, so here you see writing mode horizontal TB important, it has been applied, right? So this one we cannot override it. Why? Because user agent style sheet, if it has an important means that is given more importance. Okay, that is the thing. So you need to give least specific to the most specific. So most of the times you will be not having more important in the thing. So why? Because writing mode horizontal tab means horizontally we will be writing. So we cannot change this horizontal to vertical. So that is nothing but this one. So this one is given more importance, user agent styles. So like this it will go. So this is all about the cascading thing. Now here what we have learned. So if you want to know about these all things which CSS is applied and all those things means, you can see it here. By this you can able to understand it. This is all about the cascading. So these are the 4 algorithms, so 4 stages by which the CSS will be applied. So it will be taking consider these all the things. Out of this you understood about the position and order. These all things we have discussed. How the because of the position and order it will try to understand it. The specificity things, so you will be having some doubts that in which scenario that we can take this one as the more specific. How CSS took this one as the more specific. It will be having one algorithm. We will discuss in the next session. How that one is considered the specificity. So how can I calculate that specificity means we will see it. And next one is the origin. We already know that first one least specific is the user agent. Then this user agent styles will be overridden with the user styles, and this user styles will be overridden with the styles with important, and these things also will be overridden with the user style, which is user agent style with important. Okay, So like this. So the preference will be, origin will be like this going on. Now important means these all the things will be overridden. So this one will be taken the important. So these are all the things which we will be taking care. So that's it. So in the next session, what we'll try to learn is, we'll try to learn about the specificity. So what is the specificity? How that CSS applies that classes thing. So if you are having different types of selector combinations and all those things, how it will try to see the specificity, we'll try to learn it. And about the inheritance also, we'll try to complete it. So this is all about this. Today in tomorrow's session, we'll learn about the specificity and the inheritance.